This is Darren Marchant with American Nomad News, with a question for you today. What food would you not give up if you lived on Mars? In the future, there's very likely going to be a large number of people living on Mars. And when you go on Google and you ask this very question, no one appears to have asked this question, though I'm beginning to think that Google censors a lot of stuff. That being aside, the questions tend to be, what can survive on Mars? The assumption behind that is that humans can't farm or grow food on Mars because there's no atmosphere, it's cold, the ground is full of perchlorates. Of course, under those conditions, pretty much nothing we're used to growing will survive on Mars. But that doesn't mean that the food can't survive on Mars. Go and ask somebody who grows pot in California or grows vegetables on a roof of a high-rise in New York City. There's a restaurant in New York City that supplies all of their produce from the roof, all of it, for the whole year, because they do vertical gardening, a form of controlled gardening called hydroponics. Lots of new methods in the last few years have been developed to produce food in remarkable ways. So I ask you, what food would you not want to give up in order to live on beautiful Mars? Your answers will be used in a future video. We can grow all kinds of stuff on Mars. I'm sure of it. Now, as with all things that are experimental, we're likely to have failures. Go look at Edison's work. We wouldn't have the light bulb if Edison decided that because the first experiment didn't work, he wasn't going to try again. Dude tried gobs and gobs of different substances in order to come up with a filament that would actually work. He knew it would work. He knew there was the science was behind it. He just had to find the right material. And it wasn't until he found tungsten that he was able to get a light bulb to work. Now, of course, we have many kinds of light bulbs besides the tungsten incandescent light bulb. But we wouldn't have any of it if he'd have given up, like so many people are wont to do today. We decide everything's impossible, and we run away and we hide. But that's not the answer, is it? Okay, sure, for a moment, for a little while, you take a rest and you get away from the stress of failure. But you get up each morning and you go and you do it again. Look at this beautiful little winter forest. So close to where you are when you see this video, if you're from Texas. We can have birds, we can have flowers, we can have all the foods we're used to, but it's gonna take some work. We don't have to limit our population. We don't have to quit. We don't have to hide. And we don't have to suffer any more than you're going to suffer anyway, just being alive. We can live a wonderful life. Look at these trees. Even in winter, they're lovely. And we can have trees on Mars. We just have to put them inside. And there's plenty of people that are going to say, oh, that's impossible, because everything's impossible. Because they like to say everything's impossible, and they want to convince more and more people to fail because they weren't chosen to lead. But it doesn't matter how many people reject you. If you accept yourself, if you accept the fact that you're going to stumble a lot, but that's not a failure. To find out that you chose an idea that didn't work doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you have to choose more ideas and test to see whether they work. Every failed test is a success. It means you find out another option that doesn't work, so you don't have to try that one again. You get on with the next one. Just like Edison. He struggled and he struggled and he struggled and he struggled, but you know what? He was a very smart man who wouldn't give up. And he knew the value of the light bulb. He knew how bringing light to the world was going to work. It was going to make him a wealthy and respected man. It was going to do a whole lot of good for the world, and he was gung-ho for it. One day, while he was in his lab, and he hired a whole bunch of people to help him too. One of the guys, the mathematicians that he'd hired to solve all sorts of problems, was sitting there just struggling and struggling and struggling to figure out the volume of the inside of a light bulb. Now, mathematically, that is a really screwy problem because it's not a sphere, it's not a cylinder, you know, it's this funny shape, and he's trying to figure out the volume. And this is before handy-dandy handheld calculators. You know what he did? Guess what he did? Guess what Edison did when he walked into that lab? He picked up the light bulb, filled it full of water, and poured it in a measuring cup. Handed it back to the guy. Here you go, here's your answer. Just because something seems impossible, it's just, you just can't reach over the top of that mountain. Oh my God, I'm failing, it's never gonna work, oh my God. I have heard so much of this crap from NASA guys and other people talking about space, and it means diddly squat. What I want to hear is that, as an answer from somebody, is I don't know what the answer is, but by God, I'm going to find it. I don't know where that girl is that loves me, but I'm going to find her and have kids. I'm not going to give up. I don't want you to give up. Nobody should give up. But some people will. And don't let that stop you. And don't think that means that they're going to stay that way. They may actually get smart and change their minds and succeed someday. So you better get a move on. And that way we can live in the gardens of paradise all over the solar system, not just here on Earth. And in leaving the Earth, we will manage the population of Earth without having to have wars or have abortions or get harsh on people who try to have children. No, we don't have to do that. We can have as many children as we want. All we have to do is build room for us in the solar system. We just build the room for people to live, and it will make jobs for everybody. And the people that live out in the solar system will be available to use their intelligence to share their knowledge with the people of Earth, and the people of Earth will benefit. So we're not going to have a brain drain. Folks are just going to move to a wider neighborhood. So you tell me, what food would you not give up if you lived on Mars? This is Darren Marchand with American Nomad News, saying get off your ass and succeed. God bless. Godspeed.